Interesting fun facts. The feeling of getting lost inside a mall has a name. Yes, the feeling of getting lost inside a mall is known as the Gruen transfer. Gruen transfer. This phenomena was named after Austrian architect Victor Gruen, who fathered the modern day mall, the now iconic complex of stores teeming with fountains, food courts, and idle teenagers. Gruen's firm built Minnesota's Southdale Center, which opened in 1956 as the country's first indoor megamall. Its designers had one chief goal: to build an environment which is intentionally confusing, alluring the customers to forget what they came to buy and make impulsive purchases, spending more time and money in a shopping avenue. The tiny dot above the lowercase I and j letters has an actual name: tittle. It is thought that the phrase to a T is actually derived from the phrase to a tittle, a phrase that was used in the same sense dating back to the early 17th century. The first recording of the phrase is in the 1607 play Woman Hater by Francis Beaumont and John Fletcher, in which the lines read, "I'll court him to a tittle." The first iPhone wasn't made by Apple. The first mobile device to call iPhone was made by Cisco, not Apple. It allowed the user to use the voice functions of Skype without a computer. Way back in 1998, when Apple was merely a struggling computer company working on the original iMac, a company called Infogare, that was later acquired by Cisco, was making phones of the same name. Apple announced its own product just 22 days later, and Cisco sued for trademark infringement. The lawsuit was ultimately settled out of court, and both companies were allowed to keep using the name. However, you've probably never heard of the Cisco iPhone. Tornadoes can cause fish rain. Tornadoes can develop over water just as well as can over land. When they do, they're called water spouts, and then it gets converted into a severe storm of water. Fishes present on the surface of the water or fish near the sea, even frogs, turtles, and crabs, are drawn with the wind itself above the sky. Because of tornado, light things move up into the sky as it is activated on the surface of the water and pulls the lighted creatures upwards. These creatures fly along with the tornado and then remain in the sky until the speed of wind decreases. When the speed of wind gradually decreases, then all the things baffled, and thus the creatures fall with rainwater. Both of these processes do not take place in one place. Tornadoes take time to reach up in the sky and then to become still. Till then, it has covered a distance of several kilometers. It can also be understood that there is less chance of rain around the sea. Sharks can live for 5 centuries. Greenland sharks, with the scientific name Somniosus microcephalus, are known to be some of the oldest living animals in our world. They live deep in the North Atlantic and the cold surface waters of the Arctic. Measuring 13 to 16 feet at maturity, that is around 400 to 500 centimeters, they attain that great length only very slowly. However, growing at a rate of just 0.39 inches or 1 centimeter per year. Since they are only about 15 inches or 39 centimeters at birth, it stands to reason that the adults are pretty old. Fish that were alive during the Age of Enlightenment are still swimming strong. Researchers did carbon dating on a Greenland shark that was caught in 2014 and found it to be around 392 years old. Further testing revealed that our fishy friends could be up to 500 years old. Pluto technically isn't even a year old. Pluto was discovered on February 18, 1930. It is the farthest dwarf planet from the Sun, requiring it to go a much farther distance than we are used to on Earth. It takes 248 Earth years for Pluto to complete one rotation on its own around the Sun. This places Pluto's first birthday since its discovery on Monday, March 23, 2178. The man who found this planet was Clyde Tombaugh. Tombaugh discovered the planet in 1930 when he was just 24 years old, working at the Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona. Do you ever wish you could jump back in time to when you were younger and start life again? As life passes us by, our bodies are designed to grow, age, and eventually die. However, not all species follow this cycle. Meet the immortal jellyfish, Chauritops dohrnii. Achieving what is merely a superhero fantasy for many of us, age doesn't kill these tiny bell-shaped marvels. Instead of following just one life cycle, the jellyfish can ride the cycle continuously or until they find themselves in the jaws of their fish predators. Reverting their bodies back to their younger state, they have multiple chances at life. Superpowered doesn't necessarily mean supersized. At their largest, they are still less than 5 millimeters both in height and width. These jellyfish were first discovered in 1883 in the Mediterranean Sea, but only gained their new moniker of the immortal jellyfish in the mid-1990s. While being studied in a lab, the jellyfish skipped the fertilization stage and regressed in maturity. It is thought that the immortal jellyfish might use this skill in case of emergency, such as in the stressful situation of being contained in a small space. The Twitter bird's official name is Larry. If you truly want to be among the savviest social media users out there, you should know that the Twitter bird has an official name, Larry the Bird. Yes, like Larry Bird, the former pro basketball player who played for Twitter co-founder Biz Stone's home team, the Boston Celtics. There is a technical name for the fear of long words, and it is called hippopotomonstrosesquipedalophobia. Hippopoto is the misspelled from the hippopotamus. Monstro comes from the Latin monstrum, meaning monster. Sequipedalio comes from sequipedalian, a very long word. And lastly, phobia, an extreme or irrational fear of something. Some fungi create zombies, then control their mind. The tropical fungus Ophiocordyceps infects ants' central nervous system. By the time the fungi been in the insect's body for 9 days, they have complete control over the host's movements. They force the ants to climb trees, then convulse and fall into the cool, moist soil below where fungi thrive. Once there, the fungus waits exactly until solar noon to force the ant to bite a leaf and kill it. Eating parts of a pufferfish can kill you because, in a defense mechanism to ward off predators, it contains a deadly chemical called tetrodotoxin. There's enough in one pufferfish to kill 30 people, and there's no antidote. Still, pufferfish called fugu is a highly prized delicacy in Japan, but can only be prepared by well-trained chefs.